Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to unpack complex topics and give you the key takeaways.
And today it's about navigating regulations, something every organization grapples with. Seeing real examples helps.
Totally. So today we're doing just that, a deep dive into a real-world audit simulation. It's for a compliance management system, a CMS.
Right, based on that international standard, ISO 37301.2021.
Which is basically the framework for building a culture of compliance, not just following rules.
Exactly. Preventing, detecting, responding.
Our source, it's excerpts from an internal document, an Ahmed Trading, ISO 37301 audit simulation.
Okay, Ahmed Trading. Let's get a feel for them.
They're a mid-sized construction company based in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, around 350 employees.
Construction in Riyadh. Okay, so complexity's baked in, I imagine.
Definitely. They're juggling multiple subcontractors, dealing with government bodies all the time.
Which means things like local labor laws, environmental rules, anti-bribery standards
Are not just nice-to-haves. They're absolutely critical, survival stuff almost.
Makes sense.
So, our mission here is to unpack what this internal audit found. It happened July 5th, 2025. 3 internal auditors looked at HR, procurement, project execution, HSE, the works.
Pre-certification audit, so they're gearing up. This gives us a snapshot before the real deal.
Exactly. We want to see the strengths, the observations, and, well, the non-conformities. Where did they fall short? Ready to dive in.
Let's do it. This kind of simulation is gold. It takes the standard off the page and into, the messy reality.
Okay, so where do you start with compliance? Understanding your world, right? Clause 4, context of the organization. How did Ahmed Trading do there?
Well, a definite plus was their stakeholder register and regulatory mapping. Nicely documented.
Solid foundation, then. They know who they're dealing with and what rules apply, basically.
Yes, that baseline understanding seems pretty good.
But is understanding ever fully complete? Were there maybe gaps?
Yes. And this is interesting. The audit made an observation. External political factors. Things like delays in getting construction permits.
Yeah.
Hugely relevant for them.
Affects timelines, costs, everything.
Exactly. But these factors weren't properly updated in their CMS risk register.
Ooh, okay. So the register wasn't quite reflecting the current reality.
Precisely. And it raises a big question, doesn't it? How effective is your risk management if your view of the external world isn't, well, current? It shows the CMS needs to be dynamic, constantly scanning.
Yeah, it's not set it and forget it. Okay, from context, logically we move to clause 5. Leadership. What's the story there?
A clear strength, and you often look for this first, the compliance policy was signed by top management and actively supported.
That leadership buy-in is crucial. We always hear that.
Absolutely. It sets the tone.
But what does actively supported mean day to day, beyond the signature? Is that where challenges creep in?
It can be.
Mm-hmm.
And looking deeper, there was a critical nonconformity found here.
Okay.
Management review meeting minutes for the last 2 quarters. They weren't documented.
Not just a paperwork slip-up, is it?
No, not really. It points to a potential gap in that systematic review and oversight by leadership. If those reviews aren't happening, or at least aren't documented, how do you prove the leadership is actively steering the ship? Evaluating performance.
Good point. Okay, leadership leads to clause 6. Planning. They need a plan. Did Ahmed Trading have one?
They did. They had a risk register, identified 25 specific risks. So the effort was there.
Seems like a decent number, so planning was a strength.
As a starting point, yes. But the observation was, well, some of the compliance objectives linked to those risks weren't very specific.
How so?
They weren't always measurable or time-bound. SMART objectives. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-bound. Some were a bit vague.
Right, so if it's not measurable, how do you, the listener, know if you're actually hitting your target or making progress?
Exactly. It makes tracking effectiveness really difficult. Vague goals lead to vague results.
Okay, that's a common pitfall, I suppose. So you have the plan. Then you need the resources and support. Clause 7, support. How did that look?
Here, they had a significant win. A comprehensive training program for all site staff.
Oh, that's good. Especially in construction, getting it out to the guys on site is key.
Absolutely crucial for embedding it at the operational level.
So training was strong. Any buts?
Unfortunately, yes. A key nonconformity popped up. Training records for new joiners in June 2025. They couldn't find them. No records available.
So new people might be slipping through the cracks?
That's the risk.
Wow.
It raises a really important question. How do you ensure everyone, especially new folks, or up to speed on compliance if their onboarding and training aren't systematically tracked.
Yeah, it creates an inconsistency, a potential weak link in the chain.
Definitely undermines the overall effort.
Right. So from support, let's get into the doing part. Clause 8, operation, where the rubber meets the road.
Indeed. And another strength showed up here. Compliance checks were actually well integrated into their key processes.
By what?
Procurement and also their contractor approval processes.
That's smart. Managing third-party risk is huge in construction, so they're checking suppliers, contractors.
Exactly. Vital for controlling those external risks.
Okay, good integration.
Yeah.
But does integration at the central level mean it's happening consistently everywhere? On every site?
Well, that was the observation. Despite that integration, the actual site-level standard operating procedures, the SOPs for compliance,
Yeah.
they varied. They weren't standardized across different sites.
Okay, so Site A might do things slightly differently from Site B.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Different rules, different interpretations.
Mm-hmm.
It can lead to confusion, inconsistencies in practice.
And ultimately non-compliance, even if the central process looks good on paper.
That's the danger. It risks undermining that central control.
Okay, makes sense. Consistency is key. Now, how about checking if any of this is actually working? Clause 9, performance evaluation.
Well, they showed commitment here. They were doing internal audits every 6 months.
Regular checks, that's good practice.
It is. Shows they're looking.
But are they learning from what they find? It's one thing to find issues.
And that was the major nonconformity here. They weren't doing any trend analysis on those audit results or the corrective actions that followed.
So they collect the data points from audits, but they aren't connecting the dots.
Exactly. It's like activity without learning. You document problems, maybe you fix them one by one, but you're not stepping back to see the patterns.
Are we fixing the same type of thing over and over? Is there a systemic issue?
Precisely. Without trend analysis, you miss the opportunity for real preventative improvement. You're just firefighting.
Got it. It's like collecting puzzle pieces, but never trying to see the big picture.
That's a great analogy for it.
Okay, finally, Clause 10, improvement. Were they responsive when things did go wrong?
Yes, there was evidence of responsiveness. 7 corrective actions were raised and implemented in Q1 of 2025.
So they are reacting to problems.
They are taking action, which is positive, shows the system isn't completely static.
But, and I sense another but, were those actions effective? Did they stick?
Well, that's where the observation came in. Some of those corrective actions, they were closed off without verification of their effectiveness.
So they ticked the box, action complete, but did anyone check if the fix actually worked long term?
Right. Did it solve the underlying root cause, or was it just a temporary patch? Without that verification step, you just don't know for sure.
And the problem could just pop up again later.
Absolutely. Critical step, that verification.
Okay, so pulling all this together, what did the audit team recommend for Ahmed Trading?
Based on all these findings, the recommendations were pretty clear. They need to formalize the documentation for management reviews, get those minutes sorted.
Makes sense.
Implement proper onboarding compliance training and tracking for new hires.
Close that gap.
Standardize those site-level SOPs for compliance. Get everyone on the same page.
Consistency.
And, crucially, start using dashboards or some method to analyze trends from audits, incidents, corrective actions. Learn from the data.
See the big picture. So what's the overall verdict on their CMS? How mature is it?
The audit concluded they have a moderately mature CMS. There's strong leadership commitment, which is great, and good integration in key areas like procurement. But documentation practices, those training records, and the evaluation mechanisms, particularly trend analysis and verification, they need definite improvement to fully meet the ISO 37301 requirements.
And the bottom line, are they ready for the real certification audit?
The verdict was, ready for certification with minor corrective actions.
Minor. Interesting.
It is. Because we've seen, haven't we, even with that moderately mature label and strong leadership, there are still these gaps in the details. Missing minutes, untracked training, unverified fixes.
Yeah, it shows that compliance isn't just about having the big pieces in place.
No, it's about continuous nurturing. Verifying effectiveness constantly. It's in the details.
So reflecting on this for you, our listener, if a company can be deemed ready for certification, even with these kinds of, quote, minor corrective actions, what does that really tell us?
It suggests that achieving certification is maybe just one milestone. The real work is the ongoing vigilance needed to truly embed compliance deep into the organization's DNA.
Beyond just ticking the boxes for the audit.
Exactly. It leaves us thinking maybe compliance isn't a destination you arrive at.
More like an ongoing journey.
Yeah, a journey that demands meticulous attention to detail and a commitment to continuous, verified improvement.